In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there is a concept called achieving heaven. From what we know, only 3 characters have actually achieved this feat: Enrico Pucci, Dio, and Jotaro. Though, there is a 4th person who has actually achieved this monumental status, and they have been ascended since the early 3rd to 4th century. That person being Santa Claus, also known as Saint Nicholas. So some of you might be confused on how it's possible for someone to achieve heaven without Dio's journal, because as we see through Pucci, you need to follow all the steps that Dio laid out, because they were very specific. And this is mostly true, though you have to remember that this theory was created by Dio, designed for him and him alone, as he is the person who engraved the 14 words into his stand, aka his soul, so Pucci could awaken the spirit within the green baby after the new life is born, so the baby could trust Pucci, and the 2 of them could ascend to heaven. So the 14 words of power are specific to Dio and Pucci, and not the Heaven Ascension process by itself. So, what we have left in the Heaven Ascension process is these steps. You need a person with the ability to control their own desires, someone who's not interested in political fame, wealth, or sexual desires. These factors are all found in the person that was Saint Nicholas. He was known for his loving kindness towards all people in every walk of life, as he would go around at night leaving presents to those in need without leaving any evidence that he was the one who did so. And when he was caught, he told the person who caught him not to tell anyone who was doing it, because he didn't want the attention, he only wished to help people in their times of need. This allowed Nicholas to become the patron saint of many different walks of life. He was the patron saint of merchants, thieves, children, prostitutes, and most importantly, sailors. His kind actions turned him into the legend that had his name known round the world. So, this part of the process I think is pretty well covered. Now the next step for the Heaven Ascension process is for one to destroy your own stand/soul, so it can consume the souls of 36 sinners and become a new life form. Now Saint Nicholas, to achieve this, would have to have found 36 sinners by himself, since he will be working alone, and I think it's fair to say that him being the patron saint of merchants, prostitutes, and thieves, that Nicholas has stumbled upon at least 36 sinners in his lifespan. So with 36 sinners collected, now all we need to do is prove that Saint Nicholas had a stand, or he was a stand user. And I think this is actually pretty easy to prove as well, because as the legend of Saint Nicholas goes, sailors, when they were out to sea and approaching a storm that would sink them, would pray to Saint Nicholas, and then he would appear on their deck and he would use his saintly powers to guide them back to shore safe and sound. Without a doubt, Saint Nicholas was some sort of stand user. And to play more into this, no one exactly knows when or how Saint Nicholas died. Spoilers, he actively destroyed his soul and his stand for the ascension process. But when they discovered his body, his bones were scattered all across the world because they were soon to be holy relics and incredibly lucky. Reminds me of another holy saint that's connected to powerful stands. But we'll get into that in another time. Though, after a while they were all collected together and stored in an Italian church named after him in the port of Bari, Italy. So I think it's fair to say that in the years his bones were scattered, that his bones had collected enough souls of the sinners, since much like Dio, all you need is a piece of the person to perform the soul collection process, and not the entire person. And given the fact that St. Nicholas's bones still contained holy power, aka stand power, and still responded to the prayers of his followers, you wouldn't really need to revive the part like Pucci needed to do with Dio's. And then finally, just like Dio says, you need to find a resting place for these souls to manifest and become the new life form during the new moon, which is perfect that all of his bones were collected and placed in a church. Now the real question is, why would St. Nicholas want to perform the ascension process and become a godlike being? Was it some desperate bid for power? Was St. Nicholas lying his entire life so he could trick people into worshiping him, so he could use their souls to ascend? Or is it like Pucci, who wanted to use the souls of people to let them see their future path so they didn't have to waste their life doing meaningless tasks? Or was it like Jotaro, who confusingly became a ascended being and then used his power to save all of his friends and completely rewrite history? We'll talk about that another time. No, it's actually much simpler than either of those three. As a man, he only wanted to do good to the world, but he was limited by his mortal shell. Even with a stand ability like teleportation and saving sailors, he could only ever be in one place at one time, and he couldn't possibly know who was in need at all times. So, to shed his mortal shell and ascend, he thought he might be able to help more people. Because as you see, when St. Nicholas ascended, the first thing he would do is reset the universe, allowing him to view everything that has happened in his world all at once. No one would remember it, and it would be instantly over. And after that, he'd become instantly omniscient, allowing him to truly see who was naughty and who was nice. This is why over the years his name keeps changing, as he keeps altering history in a way. First he was St. Nicholas, then he was Kris Kringle, then Father Christmas, and of course, the modern day Santa Claus. Because you see, his kind spirit being what brought him back was the reason that Santa is not corrupted by his own power, and is also the reason he doesn't meddle in any business that doesn't involve Christmas, as he would be abusing his cosmic abilities to meddle in the petty squabbles of mortals. Instead, Santa chooses to reward actions that he seems morally good. This is why he makes the naughty or nice list. He is a firm believer in positive reinforcement, and he wishes to bring good to those in need. And this is why Santa never gets involved in any of the first 6 parts of JoJo. Also, as abilities go, Santa Claus's stand, Jingle All the Way, was originally just a stand that allowed the user to teleport to those who had faith in them. The user would also be able to teleport others with him, given that he was able to save the ships from what appeared to be unsavable conditions. Then, after ascending, Jingle All the Way became Jingle All the Way to Heaven. Santa was able to reset the universe much like Made in Heaven, so I assume that goes with just about every single Heaven stand. But Santa, instead of using it like Poochie did, used it to know everything in the world so he knew who was naughty and who was nice. It also allows Santa to rewrite reality much like the world over Heaven, so he can pull off the amazing feats that he's credited for, like making gifts out of nothing, and traveling the entire world in one night. Though one of the most important things it allowed Santa to do was solve St. Nicholas's greatest error, because using his reality warping powers, it allowed him to be in multiple places all at once. So yes, Santa Claus is not only a stand user, but also the first person to achieve heaven in the entirety of the original universe of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. In fact, he could possibly be the most powerful original universe character. That isn't Akari and Ocarine. And if you fuckers want to challenge me that Ocarine and Akari Akaza aren't JoJo characters, well, here's an interview with Hirohiko Araki himself confirming it.
こんにちは、ミスター・ザ・バッドガイ。私は有名な漫画家ヒロヒコ・アラーキーです。そして、はい、あなたは私のシリーズ全体で最強のスタンド利用者であるアカリアカザについての私はこのインタビューの中で分かれてきたことを嬉しく思っています。私は酸っぱい喉に対してお詫び申し上げます。
Bam! Read 'em and weep. You can't get stronger proof than the author confirming it himself. So, yeah, suck it. Ocarina Akaza is a JoJo character. Now, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos like it in the future, you can head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/MediNotTheBadGuy. And if you're looking for something to do on Christmas, please head out to theaters and check out The Greatest Showman. It is one of the best, if not the best, movie I have seen in theaters in years. It blew me away with its great story, and most of the critics are being fucking super harsh to it because they don't have any fun in their life. So I'd like you guys all to go check that out. I know no Shima at a shill today. I decided to change it up a little bit, give everyone a little bit of Christmas spirit. So please head on out to your local cinema and buy yourself a ticket to The Greatest Showman. It's a fantastic movie. You won't regret it.